What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another pod. I hope that you guys are doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about something special, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to the 5 subscribers that continually listen to this podcast. I appreciate you. I only have a few of you guys, and I got to make sure that you're welcome because, yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start posting more on social media for this podcast, and then that way you guys can see it. I don't know if I'm gonna put the full videos somewhere on YouTube or something like that. I already have one recorded. I got this one. I'm probably gonna post it, so on and so forth. So we're gonna see what's up. But I wanted to talk about something good in this podcast. And I got this idea from watching someone who I like to watch on YouTube. What's his name? Vic Blends, and he was doing a interview. It was one of the first ones that he posted with NLE Choppa. He's a rapper. But the message was, it hit home for me. And the message is about flipping the switch and what it takes to get to that point. And, for me, a couple years ago, I would say 2022 to 2023, I was the most depressed I've ever been or have ever felt in my life. Literally the complete opposite of who I am as a person was in 2022 to 2023, kind of 2021-ish, but it was just not who I was at all. And so I was listening to this podcast and reflecting back, and I was like, wow, a lot of people can relate to this. And so during that time, it took a lot to get to the point where, when you're at a point where it's kind of your tipping point where you're enough is enough. I'm changing whatever I got to change to become better. It's hard. It's really hard getting to that point because when you're in the moment, when you're going through a transition in life, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever it may be, where, you're not feeling like yourself, you're not confident, energetic, living life to the fullest, you're not happy. In order to get to a point where you are happy, it takes so much reflection. And I was thinking back because whenever I used to think about that moment, I always asked myself, damn, why couldn't I just change any faster? Why couldn't I get to that point any quicker? All I needed to do was just get up and get to work, which is what I do now. But what I realize is you're just so conflicted in those moments when you're at your lowest. You're conflicted about yourself, other people, mostly about yourself. But to the point where it builds so much resistance between the things that you need to get done and yourself. And then it's about okay, well then how can I minimize that resistance to then just get to doing the thing that I need to do? Because it's going to make me feel better, but it just feels I just can't because it's there's this cloud over my head. You know what I mean? So my dog's chewing food right now, and it is so loud, and it's in the left of my ear, and it is so annoying. I should not do this in the kitchen, but she just chose to eat breakfast here right now. This dog, Lila, she's so obnoxious. I cannot believe it. It's actually crazy. But, yeah, the process of change is so wild, and I think it's kind of obnoxious to say that it could just happen so quickly because it takes a lot. It takes a lot of emotional change. It takes a lot of thinking, a lot of contemplating. When I was feeling super depressed, so just to kind of recap, this year, I would say upwards of a couple of months ago, I fully got back to, not even back to myself, but to a place where I felt I'm better than before. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm in it, willing to sacrifice everything. And I'm at a full place of full transparency, a place of I'm just open, willing to do whatever it takes, confident in my decisions. I know what I want. I'm happy. I'm good, Not to say that I don't get doubts, because everybody does. Everybody feels a little bit low sometimes or sad, whatever it may be. But just purpose for living life, I'm I know what my purpose is. I know what I gotta do. And to me, it's like I flipped a switch, or it's like a switch was flipped. And every day I'm just like fully driven. I know what I need to do. Of course you get tired sometimes, whatever it may be, but it's like I found it. You know what I mean? It's like I know my purpose, right? Like I know what I got to do. I know why I'm here. I know why I wake up every day. I know why you know, but to be at that point versus just a couple of months prior or like a year prior where I was like, did not feel that way, was contemplating changing jobs, was super self-conscious about myself and depressed. And, it's just like, man, like sometimes you got to go through it. Sometimes you got to go through it. But the one thing that I think that you should try to do is to just like hold on as long as you can. Because like the ship you're sailing on, it's going to be a little bit rocky in that ocean. Some waves might be big, small. You might be coasting for a little while. But the dreams that you have, the aspirations that you have, don't let go of them. You might be going through that rocky, hard time. But you just got to hang on a little bit longer. Because soon you're going to make it out. The storm's going to pass and it'll be bright again. But it takes a while. It takes a long time. And so for me during that, like it took a lot of like just being at home, like watching movies or thinking to myself or depressed. Actually, to be real with you guys, haven't told a lot of people this, but like earlier this year, I was so depressed. I was drinking every night. I was smoking cigarettes. I was like just using all the vices possible just to make it through to the next day. I was working every day. I was stressed out of my mind. There was a lot going on. And so like I've changed a lot since then, right? But even though I had thoughts about quitting, I kept hanging on, And I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up feeling and started to feel the way that I do now is because I weighed out the pros and cons about leaving, a career that I built where it's benefited me so much to the point where it's like the cons don't even outweigh the pros. So I feel like that's what's helped me a lot in terms of getting to a point where I'm like feeling better. And now my brother's in the kitchen. The kitchen is a terrible place to record a podcast. First we had Lila eating her food, so loud, smacking her lips, so annoying in my ear. And now we got my brother. But he's okay, he's chill. Lila's more annoying. So, yeah, I mean, like, the biggest thing is just holding on, reminding yourself of like what your goals are, like what excites you the most about your life, even if it was in the past, and just giving yourself that time to think, because sometimes you just got to do a little bit of thinking for a little while, not falling into like bad habits and stuff like that. It helps you think through things a lot faster. And anyways, since I got past that point in my life, what I've realized is that what keeps me going and like what makes me happier is that like no matter, because like what happens is like we look at hard times in life that are thrown at us and we relate them back to ourselves, like, oh, like this is happening to me because I deserve it, or I'm not good enough, or but it's just not like that at all. So what I've realized is that the more that you can attack problems or like struggles in your life or things that need to get done, like even just throughout the day, if you're having a super busy day, but you got all these things, all these like little tests, just show up and work through them. Because no matter how long it is, no matter how small it is or how short it, like whatever it is, every single time you get through it, which you always will, no matter how long it is. You just need to be like willing enough to like stay strong and like hang on for dear life, you will like literally always feel good on the other side every single time, which is pretty fucking cool. But like that's what keeps me going. And that's what makes me happier. Because what I've noticed is that if I don't approach situations like that, and I just leave it or I don't handle it or whatever, just sets you back even more. And so if you're going into 2025 and maybe you're feeling the way that how I felt earlier this year, drinking, smoking, super depressed, not taking care of myself, not having clear goals, not feeling happy about myself, and you want to change that, you got to seriously reflect about what you're doing today to help make yourself feel better. Are you giving into vices that make it worse? You should probably cut those out. How are you approaching situations and problems, right? What is your purpose? Like, what are you doing here? You know, like you just got to know that it doesn't matter whose situation it is, or even if you don't know the answer to that question, it's just like, look at your life now. And I think it's good to do it this way. It's just like everything in your life that has happened that's bad, like it's all happened for a reason. But it's not because you're bad or anything. It's just as a test, you know, to see whether you're strong enough to fight through or not. And I think that's an extremely powerful motive, because no matter what the problem is, if you fight through, you will feel proud. And that's what feels really good every single time. So I think stepping back, looking at problems like that in your life helps a lot. I think counting your blessings helps a lot too. Just like grounding yourself and looking around at what you have and comparing it to other people's situations. Or, you know, I'm always thinking like, damn, like this could be so much worse, especially when I'm going through harder times, because it always can be. Somebody literally always has it worse. So being appreciative, you know, thanking God for what you have, reflecting at like what situations popped up in your life helps a lot. I feel like also at the same time, learning how to detach yourself from the situation and kind of looking at it from a bird's eye view helps a lot as well. Because then you can see it's like, you know, what is this serving as a purpose of my life? Like, what is this teaching me? Like, if I do this, where is it going to lead me? If I do this other thing, like with this situation, where is that going to lead me? What's going to give me the better outcome? What's going to allow me to live a happier life, even if I got to do a little bit of work? So my realizations coming out of that young life depression was and is those things. And they're things that I think about a lot. Like, if you do really want to feel better and improve yourself, you have to think about things differently. Because if you don't, then you're never gonna get a different perspective. You're never gonna think any differently. You're gonna keep committing to the same old actions, the same old habits that don't help, like at all, like really. And to change, to like really flip the switch, you do have to sacrifice some things in life. Maybe some things you enjoy, people, friends, family, exes, this, that, taste of music, if it's extremely sad. You know, there's a lot of different things, but it's not just like one thing. It's all of it combined. And, you know, you have to go on that journey with yourself to find that, right? But look at yourself and the way that you think about things and like your own problems in your life. Try and give yourself a different perspective on that. Count your blessings. And ask yourself, man, like, what do I have to sacrifice to make myself and make my life just a little bit better? But it's the thought process that creates the flip the switch moment. You can't just grind through it. You're going to keep banging your head against the wall, but you have to go through that inner transformation in order for yourself to get better. So please allow yourself to go through that in a safe, hopefully chill way. It takes time. Give yourself some patience. And just know that as long as you just are willing to work through it and you just commit to that, you're always going to come out feeling a lot better every single time. So anyways, that's going to be it for today, y'all. I hope that you guys have a great day. Hope that you guys got value from this. If you did, if you liked it, please show some love, subscribe to the podcast. I'll be putting out more stuff like this. I am genuine about when I talk about these things because I've gone through it and I've been through it and it sucks. And I was just thinking about this and asking myself, like, damn, like, how am I so happy right now and like living just a lot better versus than, when I was a couple years ago. It all comes back to you, by the way. Who you're hanging around with, your environment, how, what you're listening to, what you're digesting. Like, we're adaptive beings. So anything that's like, I'm talking about literally anything that's in your life, like, it affects you. So just be wise and careful about what you allow in. And don't hesitate to close things off if you need to. All right. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Again, have an amazing day. Thanks for showing love and peace out and goodbye.